to the program, Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, how you been?
Well, tell me what it's like to call Geico, then try to get on the Obamacare website.
Or have hip replacement 3 weeks ago like I had, and then try to thank the Lord above that I did it before, Obamacare took full implementation, huh? Good thing I don't have to navigate through a website to pay all the deductibles I got to pay for my hip replacement surgery, Senator.
Well, yes, you chose wisely, and, to the audience out there, you're talented in so many ways, but I was able to see the production of Annie in Greenville.
Right.
You were fabulous as Daddy Warbucks. The kids were just incredible. So thanks for allowing me to come to the show.
Well, it was nice to see you and your friends in the audience, and the cast was so excited that you were there, and it meant a lot to the South Carolina.
And the money raised went to our fallen officers and their families.
Well, thanks to you.
What a great call.
And you were a big part of that, Senator Graham, and I want you to know how personally grateful I am that you helped contribute. You bought some seats for fallen officers, families, and it was just all around a great experience. Just a terrific time, and it was nice to catch up with you in person in the lobby afterwards. You've spent the day with a buddy of mine, Carl Sobocinski, of one of my favorite restaurants in South Carolina, Sobeys. Boy, I tell you what and he's kind of a restaurant.
7 restaurants.
7. He's like become the tycoon. He's like the dean of upstate South Carolina restaurants. But you're touring with him, and you guys are spotlighting a very real world consequence, a very tough problem that faces business owners, and that is Obamacare is breaking the backs of business owners all over the country, isn't it?
Yes, and let me tell you what Carl told me. Okay, he owns 7 restaurants, from very high-end to a taco restaurant.
Right.
Great food, an incredible American story. If you know Carl, he's buddies to both of us. Great place to go to eat. 300 employees. Here's the bottom line. Under Obamacare, his cost for insuring his employees is going to go up $150,000. Okay?
Wow.
Now, that's $150,000 that's taken out of his business to grow his business or to hire or pay people more. Here's what he's going to have to do. If you work less than 30 hours, you're not covered. So he's tearing his guts out, but he may have to go to like 28 and 29-hour work weeks for some of his employees to afford the mandate.
Well, that's what the Money Honey said this week, Senator, on CNBC. Maria Bartiromo said Obamacare threatens to turn the country into a part-time nation because business owners can't afford to employ full-time employees.
But this is the thing most chilling, Mike, about what I learned from Carl. The fine is $2,000 per person.
Per person.
Okay?
Right.
You know what it costs to insure a person? $3,600.
Wow.
Carl is wrestling with the idea of dropping coverage because the difference between the cost of coverage and paying the fine is so large.
Wow.
And guess what? That's no accident. Remember when Harry Reid said this is the first step toward a single-payer system? This is how you get a single-payer system.
This is how you do it. It's how you do it.
Private people say, I can't afford it. I'd rather pay the fine, and it herds us all into these exchanges dominated by the government, and you'll have, through the back door, what they could get through the front door, socialized European medicine.
So here are employees of a great businessman like Carl Sobocinski who might have to go without getting covered through their employer because the employer simply can't afford it.
He's either going to have to lay people off or sell more. And really at the end of the day, this is a job-killing creation called Obamacare. And why does it cost so much more?
Right.
If you let a bunch of liberals write an insurance policy, they will put everything in the kitchen sink in the policy because they're so kind-hearted. Well, all of those mandates require a cost. And the basic Obamacare standard policy is so much more expensive because they put everything into these policies with the kitchen sink.
Right. Your colleague from Texas, Senator Marco Rubio, was just on the show before you were able to join us. I mean,
Florida.
When I say Texas, I'm sorry. From Florida, of course. Thank you. It's the pain pills. The pain pills are kicking in. Florida's Senator Marco Rubio, who is introducing a bill to delay the mandate. Boy, that's the rub, isn't it, Senator Graham?
Yeah,
is this mandate?
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, I think we need a timeout. But Gene Shaheen, a Democratic senator from New Hampshire,
Right.
wrote a letter to the president saying, Mr. President, the fines kick in the first part of next year. If an individual hasn't signed up for Obamacare because the individual mandate hasn't been delayed, then you start getting a fine from the IRS beginning next year. She is saying don't fine people who can't sign up because the website is so poorly designed. Marco's saying delay the entire individual mandate for a year. Marco is dead right. We need to delay the mandate, get in a room somewhere, and see if we can come up with a better solution to health care.
Right. He also told me, Senator Graham, that he's a little distressed, as am I, by a lot of the Republican infighting we're seeing right now. And I know you're getting a lot of heat. You know, I mean, I posted on my Facebook fan page you were coming on today, and there was a lot of negative comments. People are kind of angry at you right now. They feel like you're not on board with this sort of grassroots spirit in America called the Tea Party. What do you say about that sort of the person disappointed in this Republican infighting going on right now?
Well, I'm disappointed too. The biggest beneficiary of this is the Democratic Party.
Right.
Over the last 4 years, we've probably given away 3 or 4 seats that were there to be had. Numbers matter. If we'd had one more Republican senator, there'd never been Obamacare. Here's my belief. If the Tea Party wrote down 10 things that I'm for when it comes to the size and scope of the federal government, Lindsey Graham would probably agree with 8. Right. If I wrote down 10 things I would like to see, they'd probably agree with 8. The point is, after 8 years of Obama, the Republican Party is back in business. He's done more for our cause than we have. After 8 years of this stuff, people are going to be looking around for a new approach. And if we could get our act together, there's got to be a place in the Republican Party for a Jim DeMint, Lindsey Graham, Rand Paul, Kelly Ayotte, Susan Collins, Rob Portman. I'm into building a coalition like Ronald Reagan built, organized around conservative policies, but make sure that we can sell it to the broadest audience possible. Mm-hmm. So what have I learned from the shutdown? For 16 days, we were talking about differences in tactics of how to deal with Obamacare as Republicans, rather than talking about the disaster of the bill itself.
Right.
The last 2 days has been one headline after another. The president spoke for 25 minutes defending this monstrosity because we got out of the way. I hope we'll learn from our mistakes.
But I also think that Senator Cruz from of course Texas, there was a memo obtained by the Daily Caller, an internal memo where he sort of defended this strategy, and I think he made some great points in it. He said the defund plan produced tangible results that create both immediate and long-term benefits. He said, first, it intensified the nation's focus on Obamacare. Second, it energized Americans by showing there are people in Washington willing to take real action to stop it. And third, it exposed for all to see the Democrats' refusal to compromise out of blind devotion to their extreme liberal agenda. Isn't he right about that, Senator Graham?
To some of it, yeah. I think it exposed that the Democrats have rallied around a defective law. Anytime you can talk about Obamacare in a constructive way, you're winning. The last 2 days have been great for us. But if you believe in polling at all, our brand is at an all-time low. Even though a majority of Americans did not like Obamacare, 76%, 80% didn't like the idea of shutting down the government to defund it. Mm-hmm. So that was a tactic that I didn't see how it would play out. I never understood how we could make the president sign a bill into law doing away with the signature issue, right, but not funding the government. Can you imagine what Bush would have done if Democrats had said, we're not going to fund the government, President Bush, until you repeal the Bush tax cuts? So it was a tactical choice that didn't play out.
Yeah.
But here's what is playing out today. Americans are beginning, like Carl, to see what happens to their business and family life under Obamacare. The president is defending the indefensible. Right. Gene Shaheen, a Democrat, is now calling for a reprieve from the IRS penalties for individuals. We're well on our way to getting a delay with Democrats joining us because this thing is not working.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's been a good couple of days. Congressman Paul Ryan, of course, the chair of the House Budget Committee, is calling on Kathleen Sebelius to resign as Secretary of Health and Human Services over this disastrous rollout. You think he's right?
Well, somebody needs to. It's not like this snuck up on you.
Right.
Oh, I forgot. Obamacare is the law of the land, and we need to have the website. So,
Right.
I mean, do they get the mail? Do they get the paper? Do they watch TV? They've had 3 years. Here's the question, Mike. How can, after 3 years, this be the end product of 3 years of having advance notice of what you have to do?
Right.
4 dead Americans in Benghazi. Has anybody been fired?
No, and I want to remind listeners who are giving you a lot of heat these days, Lindsey Graham is the one who continues to ask questions and continue to bang this drum about Benghazi, who continues to ask for accountability. And a lot of people are, I got to tell you, Senator Graham, are so grateful that you're doing that, because you're right. There's no accountability on this stuff. There's none.
From Obamacare to Benghazi, but you know, I'll just tell you, I mean, there's no use being on the show if I can't be honest with you. I thought the government shut down hurt our cause when it came to Obamacare. Mm-hmm. It didn't help it. And at the end of the day, Obamacare is a disaster in the making. It is falling apart in front of us. We need to push Democrats to work with us to delay this thing and come up with a new answer. As to Benghazi, I think this time next week, you're going to know things about Benghazi you don't know today.
Good. About
the level of threat, how ill-prepared we were to protect our people, and how big a lie they told you after the fact about what actually happened.
Good.
I'm promising you and your listeners that Benghazi is a long way from being over with.
No, and you've said that over and over again, and that's thanks to again, you continuing to carry that torch on behalf of those 4 slain Americans, including our U.S. ambassador. Speaking of foreign politics, I saw today you had made some headlines with your position over foreign aid to Egypt. Can you speak to that for a moment? And
yeah,
fill us in?
We have $60 million that's supposed to go to the Egyptian Enterprise Fund to help the Egyptian economy. Would you go to Egypt now?
No, sir.
If somebody asked me, is it safe to travel to Egypt, I would say no.
Nope.
If somebody asked me, is it smart to open up a business in Egypt, I would say no. You've gone from Morsi, who tried to take the country down an Islamic path, to now a full-blown military dictatorship who's trying to kill or imprison 30% of the population. Egypt is a mess. I can't in good conscience take $60 million and invest it in an enterprise fund that has no chance of success. So I think we need to suspend our aid until Egypt gets her act together, because you're just throwing good money after bad. And I'm an internationalist. I believe in American exceptionalism and leadership and, you know, shaping the destiny of the world rather than leading from behind.
Right.
But how could you invest in Egypt now with no chance of success?
You know, and in closing, Senator Graham, you're so right about the productive couple of days we've had. It's been a good few days for the Republican Party. I really hope that every Republican on Capitol Hill remembers that sort of mantra of cohesiveness and unity. You know, that's one thing. You know, the Democrats they stand unified against us all the time. I mean, it's time for Republicans to be unified.
Well, you know, if we had a majority in the Senate, you would know more about Benghazi than you do today, because I'd be a chairman of a committee.
That's right.
Not the ranking member. If we'd had one more senator back in 2009, there would have been no Obamacare. If we'd had control of the Senate, we could help our House colleagues with the IRS investigation. A Republican-controlled Senate is within reach. Obamacare is an albatross around our Democratic colleagues' neck in 2014,
yep.
And we need to be pushing the flaws in this bill, trying to find a better way for the American people. And Democrats are going to break next year.
So you do feel good about 2014?
Oh, my God. If Hillary Clinton's the nominee in 2016, she's likely to be. Here's what you say to her. This is the third term of Obama. She owns the foreign policy of Barack Obama, which is failing all over the world. Israel is under siege. The Mideast is in flames. Domestically, the economy is in the tank. You can't create a job in America after 8 years of Obama. Do you want 4 more years of the same? If we get a good conservative nominee, right of center, who can talk to people in an intelligent way and grow the party and get our Hispanic friends back on board, which I think they will be over time, then we can win the White House in 2016.
Who do you think that is? Is that Marco Rubio?
I think you got a lot of good choices. Jeb Bush could win Florida. Chris Christie could win. You got governors like Walker. You got Bobby Jindal. We've got a pretty talented group of governors out there, and who have brought change to their states. The guy in Michigan made it a right-to-work state.
Yep.
My God, what an accomplishment.
It sure was.
I'm actually bullish on the Republican Party. President Obama has done more for our fortunes than we have ourselves.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately, at the expense of the country.
It'll collapse under the weight of themselves, I think, and I hope and pray. And I always appreciate you being able to visit with us in person, Senator Graham. We'll just see how this thing all plays out. It was great seeing you last month in Greenville, and
all right.
And thanks again for
Mike,
your support.
We'll see you back home.
Thank you, sir, Senator Lindsey.